So good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. It's great to be here again in space, guys. And today I have a brand new guest with me, and her name is Nayomie Jarvis. Guys, I'm very, very encouraged to have this amazing woman share her testimony, with you, because when I heard her story, actually, I remember we had this conference. Well, it wasn't a conference, well, it's similar to this conference kind of thing, called Winter Workshop earlier this year. And Nayomie shared a powerful communion that moved everybody's heart. That what I took from that communion was this woman moved from being a victim to being a survivor, literally. And I know for myself, there's so much to learn from Nayomie, because she has been a woman who's overcome many trials, many tribulations, and yet she's still standing, and I'm really, really encouraged to share, just literally provide this space, completely God anyway, to provide this space for her to really, help women, just empower them and, celebrate them as well. And I guess impact you guys in a way where you probably would have never been impacted before, because that was me. And yeah, guys, obviously without further ado, this is what we do here in space. I would like to pass the mic over to Nayomie. Naomie's going to share a scripture, and obviously she's going to also, to share exactly what she's been through and how she's managed to overcome. And by the way, guys, Naomie is also a disciple. She's based in the London church. She's originally from LA. But yeah, here we go. And Nayomie, when you're ready.
Yay, awesome. Thank you so much, Stephanie, for having me. I'm super grateful and honored and privileged to be able to be here in this safe space. And I'm really grateful to, use what God has allowed me to go through to help other women, men, and just with whatever they're going through to overcome. And I've been a disciple for 10 years, and my name is Nayomie Jarvis, by the way. And August 13th, 2012, when I was 20 years old, I got baptized. So I'm telling my age there. But yes, for 10 years, I was meant as a campus student at Mount SAC. If you know, you know, okay. And I've, was baptized in LA, and I was there for a year, a little over a year. I became a missionary after that, many different places. And now I'm in London, which is amazing, been in Paris, and, picked up some French. So that was cool. But yeah, I just love what I do. I'm very passionate about it, to be able to help women on a full-time level, take off their mask, whatever they're showing, tough exterior, but inside they're rotting, or whatever they're going through, just really helping them to live their best life. And it's really beautiful to see someone blossom in the person that God intended them to be. So with that being said, for myself, I grew up not rich. I grew up in a family. My mom and dad, they got married shortly after I was born. They're supposed to get married prior to me being born, but I'm like, I want to show up for the party. And so I was a preemie. I was born into a mixed race family. My dad's, indigenous and American Black, and his mom is, German and Irish. So my dad's Black and white, and my mom is Spanish, Barbados, and Jamaican. And even with growing up mixed, I grew up with a little identity crisis. But I was born in a mixed family, and I don't really remember much of the relationship. But when I was able to recall the relationship, when I got a bit older and to remember things, it was horrific. It wasn't anything pleasant. What I can recall, just a lot of fighting and arguing, and very physical violence and stuff like that in the home. And my sister, I have one younger sister, she's 2 years younger than me. And eventually my parents, they wanted to get divorced. I was born in Denver, Colorado. And after they decide they want to get divorced, they want to move where their families are, which is California. And so them moving there, both parents want both children. My dad wanted my sister and I, my mom wanted my sister and I. And my dad succeeded in, technically, according to the law, like kidnapping us, because he didn't do it legally. So he took us to live with his mother in Big Bear, if you know California, Big Bear. And I don't really remember anything of it. I remember just I'm with my dad, I'm with my grandma, and to me, I'm just being a kid playing around, and that's it. So for me, it was fine. I didn't really think about where's mom. From what I recall, I was with family who I love and I trust, so it was fine. So I feel like I was able to be a kid, living with my father, with my grandmother, and eventually I ended up living with my grandpa, my dad's father. And my grandmother, she was just getting old, and she wasn't in a place to take care of little kids while my dad's at work and stuff like that. So we ended up living with my grandfather, and my dad, although he would want to have lived with us, he wasn't able to. He had a great paying job where he was at. So he would provide for us, and he would come down, like, I think around the weekends, and give money to my grandfather to better take care of my sister and I. And he would play with us and stuff and go back. But I love grandpa. He raised my sister and I, and he was amazing. That was like my dad as well. And so super grateful for grandpa. And yeah, I don't really, for me, what I experienced, it was I got to play, I got to fight the boys, be a little tom girl, and so I was good to go. And then eventually, though, my mom got custody over my sister and I when I was 9 years old. And I do remember that day. And I was really excited, actually, because even though I love dad, my dad didn't give me my first dollar since I'm American. It was my mom, and my mom never punished me, or when I did speak to her on the phone or visit her, it was just really nice. And so I fantasize of living with her, of how it would be. I'm like, it'll be great. I'm gonna be with mom. We're gonna play all day, and we're gonna be spoiled, and we can eat dessert any day and time that we would like. And so I was really looking forward to living with my mother. And when I end up living with her, I remember just from day one, it was just like, what, why, why, why is this what it is? It was just really intense. I just knew it was going to be good from there on out. And it shortly became hell, like legit hell. And with my mother, I had to grow up really fast. My mom's side of the family, they're really big into like gang violence, and they're heavily involved in gangs. And so Bloods, Crips, MS-13, and Asian gangs, and they're not like some low-key people in gangs and stuff like that. So my mom was affiliated with that type of lifestyle. And with that being said, there was just like drugs, alcohol around. There was just wild parties always happening. And with that, it created, of course, a unsafe environment, especially for children. And so shortly after that, with drugs, alcohol being around, and this wild parties with just random people coming around all through the night, got sexually abused. I got sexually abused. My sister did as well, by random people, by people we know, by family members. It was just all the above. And it was really intense. I had to really I gained a deep trust, a deep hatred very early on. And I couldn't trust anyone, because the people closest to me wasn't just people who I wasn't close to, it's people I was actually close to, and people who you should trust, people who said that they will protect you, were sexually abusing me. And so I had to protect myself, and become like a mother at a young age, and protect my little sister, and had to fight people off. Even though I'm a little girl, I did my best. I had to fight for my life, literally. And eventually my own mother, she was sexually abusing myself and my sister. And with myself, it was a lot more intense, because with my sister, my mom that she was like a miniature version of herself. And with myself, she thought I looked and I act like my father. So she had a sick and twisted love-hate relationship with me. So at times she would want to be protective. People are sexually abusing me, or and she would want to protect, and she would fight them and kick them out. But if she's in a bipolar schizophrenic state, or if she's viewing me as my father in any which way, then she would allow it to happen, and even get turned on by it, unfortunately. And so living with her was just hell. I got, I got, I had to physically fight my mom to prevent her, to have her not sexually abuse myself. And so I just never knew what mood she was in since she was bipolar and schizophrenic. I'm like, okay, is she Melanie or is she Jasmine Rose? Melanie was like the nurturing side of my mom. And I could tell that she actually cared and loved and wanted to love, even though she didn't know what love was. But Jasmine Rose, which she was most of the time, she just did not care about anyone but herself. And so it was really intense, and living with her. And yeah, she would let random people, she would sleep with everyone, and so she even start trying to sleep with her daughters. And so mainly myself. And so that was just not cool at all. And going to school, no one knew. I was told not to. I said, I was told that if I tell anyone what's going on at home, my mom's going to make it worth it going to prison. And so I was really scared of my mom, because she's like a tall woman. She's like 5'11". She's a big woman as well. So she's like a big, strong woman and tall, and she would beat me up, and so I was scared of her. So she installed the fear in me. And she's like, look, you're going to be separated from your sister if you tell what's going on at home. You're not ever going to see her again. You're never going to see your animals again. And the list goes on. And also that she would physically like she'll kill myself and my sister. And she was like, I'm going to make it worth it. So I never told about my mom like physically abusing me, whether it's burning me. I don't know if you know what a hot comb is, but she burnt me like, and I had the teeth marks on my body from a hot comb. She got jealous at one of my relationships I had, and their parents just really lavishing me with nice things and show me what normal like a normal life is. And for Christmas, they gave me like a straight iron, and my mom got mad that I was using it, and she got jealous, and she took it and she started whooping me with it, like a hot, like fresh hot iron. And it was just, I got like blood everywhere. It was just bad. I would get my head bashed in and couldn't go to school, or I had to lie saying I got in a fight. So it was just really intense growing up. Got spit in my face. I remember one time I was fighting my mom to not like sexually abuse me, and she always win. And I'm not sure if like from being molested, if it turned into rape. I don't know if I was de-virginized by my own mother, because yeah, I would black out. I would fight her, and she would win, and she would hit me hard enough, and I'll black out. And so I don't know. And when I found that out, I was really like, this is humbling. Like, man, my future husband, I was able to protect my virginity from getting raped from all these different types of characters. But my own mom, that's a possibility that I can be de-virginized from my own mother. Like, that was super humbling to come to terms with that. Like, it was so difficult. But and to know that my future, whoever my husband would be, like I would have to tell them that. Like, that was just, it was hard for me to fathom and to understand. And but yeah, that's just, it was really intense time. And anyways, I've when I turned around 18 years old, I had like a high school sweetheart and stuff. But when I turned 18, I moved out, and I didn't know what I was going to do, or I was going to go. I wanted to go to university, that I found out not too long ago, I think around 17 years old. because of the family of my boyfriend who became my fiance at the time. Like, she was a nurse, and I was like, oh, like, I want to be educated. And she was telling me, okay, what do you want to do? And she inspired me to want to be a nurse. Like, I want to help people. And because I wasn't told about university or being anything other than what my environment was, which was gang violence, which was being gangs, or, getting pregnant at a young age and living off of the government. And I want to be more than that. I want to make something of myself. I didn't know what. I didn't know what there was. I want to be a video dancer actually at one point. but yeah, I didn't know. And so, and even in school, they didn't give me any, like, they didn't inspire me of what I can do, because I grew up in being in intermediate classes, which is special needs classes, because I grew up with a severe disability of short-term memory. And so, yeah, I wasn't given any opportunity. They're like, yeah, your special needs and your severe case, you can live off the government and work at something like a grocery store and get a little bit of money, and there you go. And I was like, not inspired at all. And so when I was told about university and also about helping people, and I saw a great woman, doing great things in her career, being a nurse, I was inspired. And so my mother wasn't gonna, I asked her if she can help me get into university. And when you're 18, when you're going to university, you have to have like your parents sign documents and stuff for you to be able to go. And she's like, no, I'm not going to. And I was like devastated. I'm like, I really want to go to university. And she's like, no, why? Like, you are not smart, you are dumb. And so university is not a thing for you. Like, you're literally stupid. And she was like, just live off of the government and be a stripper. You do well for yourself. And I was like, I don't want that. I want to make something out of myself. She's like, live off the government and be a stripper. That's it. I'm not signing any papers, period, point blank. And so I was like, oh my goodness. And so anyways, this amazing woman who was going to be my mother-in-law at the time, she pretended to be my mother, and she went to university and did everything to help me get in. And so I'm internally grateful for her, for doing that and taking a risk on me and helping me to be what I am today. So I'm really grateful for her. And so anyways, I was able to go to university and kind of forget about my past life with everything that happened, and make a name for myself, And so I went to university. I was getting good grades, and I was able to, join the track team. I ended up doing really well. And so I was super grateful for that, to where, like, I was going to try out for the Olympics in 2016, Rio, Brazil, come on. And and I was engaged to a good guy, and who didn't abuse me in any way. And so I was doing really well for myself. People actually looked up to me. And I didn't grow up religious, but I did become religious and like believe in God. And I was going to become like a pastor's wife. And because my fiance, my boyfriend who became my fiance, he was really into God, and he was like, he's going to be a pastor. He was actually going to school to become a pastor. And so I was like, okay, I need to get my act together, And so I was really like into God, and I'm not like a hypocritical type of person. So I was all for it. So we were waiting till marriage and everything. But I just felt like things were kind of like missing in my life, And I just decided to like pray one day. It's like, good God, send me a woman who can really help me with my relationship with you, because I felt like there was just my heart wasn't completely full. It was a bit, I had a great life going for me, and a lot of people would want where I was at in life, especially at my age. But the thing is, there was something in my heart where I'm like, okay, what is my purpose in life? What I'm doing, okay, being an Olympic athlete, is that it? Making a lot of money, is that it? And marrying a great guy, and like, is that it? And all those are great and all, but I wanted what God wanted for me, because I know what God wants for me and what God can do for me in my life by following his plan that he has out for me will be far better than what I have planned out for myself. And so I prayed, I said, God, send me some woman who can really help me in my relationship with you. And that's when, God provided, and he sent some woman who came my way, and a guy with this girl on my campus, and they invited me to this Bible discussion that they had. And I ended up going. I didn't really think much of it, but after, one of the girls came up to me and say, hey, like, we do personalized Bible studies with other women, would you be interested? And I agreed to it. And after, when I walked away, I started jumping and leaping and skipping. I was like, thank you, Jesus, because I didn't know what was going to happen from that day on, but I just knew that God answered my prayers. So things were going to happen, God's God. And I studied in the Bible. When I studied the Bible, girl, it was hard. It was so hard. It was hard because, I became religious, and I actually was like someone who wasn't hypocritical about it. And so I read my Bible, and I prayed like every day, and I like help people and help counsel women, and I help conduct these Bible studies and help even some women like pray Jesus into their heart to make Jesus Lord and Savior of their life. And when I studied the Bible and I found out some things about myself, that I wasn't following God the way that he wanted me to follow him, that hurt really badly. And so I wanted to be sentimental and get, run away. But I remember just stopping praying, because I'm like, it was intense. It was really intense. And I was like, God, like, please, you know what I want to do. I just want to get to heaven. And so if these women are for you, please help me just to humble out. And if they're not, please get them far away from me where I never have to see them again. And I was super angry prior to praying that prayer. I literally stood up and was punching my fist in their face. I'm like, you're telling me I'm not saved? They're like, what does the Bible say? And they had to take me back to the Bible. And so I prayed that prayer. And after praying that prayer, I tell you what, it sounds corny, sounds cliche, but I like woke up. I opened my eyes, and then it just clicked. It just clicked. Like, if I were to die, I'm going to hell. And I'm like, I started bawling and bawling. I was like, get me baptized. Get me saved right now. And they're like, whoa, okay, she's ready. And I'm like, yeah, get me baptized right now. They're like, look, we have a few more studies to go through, just, essentials to make sure that you want to make this decision. It's a lifetime decision. I'm like, I'm ready right now. If I have to go to work after this, I'm going to drive to work. I'm going to get hit by what's it called? One of those big trucks that carries a whole bunch of stuff. And then I'm going to die and go to hell. That's what's going to happen. So I need to get baptized right now. And they're like, no. The woman who led my study, she was this cute little petite Mexican woman. She was like, mija, God's suffering, which means my daughter in Spanish. And so anyways, I was like, you promise me, you promise? And she's like, yeah, we will not leave until we finish all the necessary studies tomorrow. And we won't leave until we baptize you and get you where you want to be saved and right with God. And so it was great. It was great because I ended up trusting them, and I went to work. I was so scared. They call it white knuckling it, where all your knuckles turn white because you're like holding the steering wheel so tight. I was like, and it's funny, a monster truck, one of those big trucks, like bypassed me, like those 8-wheelers or 16-wheelers. And I was so scared. I was like, oh no, I'm gonna die. But I remember they said, God is sovereign. God is sovereign. You know, he knows that you want to get right with him. So don't trip. And so anyways, I didn't die, obviously. I got to work and I remember going in and I did not care. I was like, boss, I am not coming into work tomorrow because I'm going to get baptized. And he kind of just looked at me and he's like, okay, congratulations. And so anyways, the next day I studied the Bible literally up until like 11, 12 at night. And then I got baptized around 12:01 in the morning, August 13, 2012. And I tell you what, that was such a glorious, glorious day. There's a few people there because it was so late, you know, and I was so happy just like to know my purpose now, to have those, to know where I would go if I were to die, and to be in God's purpose for my life instead of my purpose. And like, yeah, I can have people become this, you know, this athletic celebrity from track and field and have my own clinic one day. I can travel the world with my pastor of a husband and, you know, make lots of money, but that'll be helping people to really idolize myself instead of what I want people to the only thing that people should idolize is God. So yeah, like honestly, I'm so grateful. God had helped me to be able to forgive people who I thought I could never forgive, like my mother who sexually abused me, who verbally abused me, who like really looked down on me. And you know, she spat in my face one day. She spat in my face, spit loogie in my mouth, and she was sick. So I became sick for a week, and I was just so upset. I had deep hatred, and it was because she fought me and because she wanted to sexually abuse me. And I remember crying, and she was like, "You're pathetic, look at you crying." So I didn't cry. So it was nice to be able to cry in the kingdom for the first time again in many years, to be able to forgive and not become a victim, but like a victor in my life. And now like I'm living my best life, being able to help other women. Like I said in the beginning, like I'm able to really help them with what they've been through to become not a victim, but a victor in their life, and to forgive, because it's not about the person, it's about themselves, you know? And I just felt like a weight that just came off when I decide. It's a decision. It's not this emotional feelings. Do I still get super emotional about my past? Absolutely. Do I get emotional about my relationship with my mother and I? Absolutely. I want that relationship with my mother that I see other people have, and that nurturing side of moms and all this kind of stuff. I didn't receive any of that. And so I do get kind of like, man, that's nice. You know, I would love to have experienced that. But instead of being again a victim, I just change it to help inspire and help other women who've been through this or whatever they've been through, to really like see the good in everything and use their pain to really help other women. So yeah, that's my story. Thank you.
Wow. Jeez. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I've got loads of questions, if I'm honest.
Okay.
I have loads of questions. Was there any point, you know, during your studies, well, obviously I know you studied the Bible in, you know, a short period, but was there any point where you had to reconcile with your mom?
Yes, it was actually the night I was going to get baptized. And I remember the woman who was leading my studies when I was confessing my sin. So at the cross study, I didn't write it down. I just said it verbally because it was just such a short period of time. And when I was talking about my sin, it was more just blame shifting. Like, hey, I did this because this person did that. I'm messed up because this person messed me up, which is true. However, the thing is, she told me something very profound. She says, what is your sin? Don't confess her sin. What is your sin? And that helped me to have a soft heart to forgive her. And so I was saying my stuff. Okay, yeah, I did this. I started having an alcoholic, you know, a drinking addiction. became an alcoholic, or I did this, or I become super bitter and distrustful of people. But I had to own that and not say, but it was because of her. I'd say, no, I chose to, and so that was like, in a sense, even though it was very humbling, it was empowering, because then the next step was like, okay, you need to forgive your mom. I'm like, who, what, where, when, why, how? And they said, look, it's just a decision. You're still going to feel a lot after and all this kind of stuff, but it's making the decision. And so I'm like, yeah, I'm going to make the decision, because I don't want to go to hell, really. Like, I don't want to have this weight on me forever while she's living what she thinks in her mind her best life, and so it was just a decision of it.
I hear that. And was there a point where you, like, I guess confronted her as well to kind of like make peace or anything like that?
Well, it happened far after, because my mom, she's like mentally ill, and so she wouldn't understand as well. So there has been times I'm like, mother, like, you've done this to me, and she would just blow it off, or she would go all of a sudden like, I'm gonna kill myself, I can't believe that you say that I did that. Like, she would just go. Sometimes she was like, I'm sorry, I wasn't a good mom and everything. They have no rule books and stuff of how to do motherhood and everything. So she said sorry once, but then also shortly after, like within the same conversation, she would go into like, I can't believe you would say this about me, I'm gonna kill myself right now. I'm like, mother, like, and so just be really intense. So she's not healthy enough mentally to get it. So it's kind of like you're talking to, I don't know, you're talking to the wall. I don't know. But yeah, I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, that definitely makes sense. So obviously you did mention as well that she has a combination of bipolar disorder and schizophrenia. So
Yes.
yeah, that definitely makes sense. But like, wow, just the fact that you've gone through so much again, and you've managed to overcome. I also remember you saying to me the other day that you definitely haven't allowed your past to kind of define and shape who you are today, and that you're able to kind of just get through life now, because obviously you've got God, number one, but number two, it's like those things don't have a hold on you. Like, probably could I don't know, could you share something, or something again inspiring with us, that people can take away? Whoever's gone through something similar to you, is there anything that you would share to kind of like encourage them in terms of overcoming those situations?
Yes, I would say honestly, the best thing that has helped me, it sounds really religious and cliche, but it's the only thing that really got me through tough times, is the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
Is literally the Bible, and really studying out, not just reading it, not just going to church and hearing what someone else has to say about the Bible, but for me looking into it. And it changed my view of things, it changed my mindset, it reprogrammed myself, because I should be a statistic. I should be what people thought I was going to become. I should be what, a stripper, and I should be maybe become a prostitute. I should, all these different things, live off the government, have, children at a young age, and just hate life and become a victim of my environment, of like, I didn't have good cards handed to me, maybe be in a mental institution. I don't know, but I shouldn't be mentally stable. And I'm not down on people who are I have many family members that are in that realm, in that lifestyle, and even being mixed, like I associate with my Black side of the family, and so with them, they had this victim mentality. A lot of them did. Some of them came up above it, but most of them, they just like, like, look, the society, the government, like, you can still, even though, yeah, it is a bit tougher, they're not fair cards dealt. However, you can rise above that if you choose not to be a victim. And what helped me literally was the Bible. making the decision. And I had to make a decision every single day, because every single day I want to be victim. I'm like, man, why did I think like this? Man, it's because of my past. Man, I'm kind of stunting some things, but instead I'm just going to have to fight harder and work harder to grow, to grow in these areas that, people who had a privileged life naturally, they're stable in these areas, or they're able to think naturally in this way or that way. But what helped me flat out was the Bible.
And come on, Nayomie, so powerful. Come on, like, wow. I thank you so much for sharing your story, with us, and being so vulnerable as well. Again, things like this, I know it's not easy to kind of share, but the fact that you are doing it shows that you have overcome, and obviously even the motive behind it as well, like the intention behind sharing. It's just so beautiful. But yeah, like, guys, that is it. If you want to get in touch with Nayomie, I'm going to put her contact details down below. And for a Bible study, guys, like, again, we've gone through the same Bible studies, and they have obviously been life-changing, been transformative from the heart outwards. So guys, again, if you are interested in Bible studies, and you want to get to know God more, you want to build more of a relationship with him, you want to understand your purpose, if you're based in London or around London, definitely get in touch with Nayomie. If you're based in the West Midlands or around Birmingham, definitely get in touch with me as well. And with that being said, guys, I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, month, year. By all means, if you want to subscribe, if you want to like, if you want to share, if you want to comment, do what you got to do. Even if you want to dislike, do what you got to do, bro. Whatever, is what it is. But yeah, see you soon, guys. Love you lots.
Oh, love you guys. Thanks, guys.